Good evening, class. Online class is AV working? Okay. So let's start today's Polity and Governance Current Affair class. Topics are Singapore introduces world's first green fuel levy, transplantation of human organs and tissues amendment rules, IT amendment rules, National Urban Conclave of 2025, Cooperative Kumbh of 2025. Yeah. The first one is Singapore introduces world's first green fuel levy. Done? See, what has happened means, in simpler words, all of us are trying to meet net zero carbon demands. By 2070 is the maximum goal. In that we are very badly performing, we are very poorly performing, that we are not even reaching anywhere. Singapore has become the first country which has identified that if we cut down on our, let's say, your aircraft ka fuel, which is a fossil fuel, that itself will reduce almost 60 to 80% of our demand. Now, in order to do that, how can we do that? Is Singapore has told that if we can introduce, okay, a sustainable aviation fuel, otherwise called as SAF. Sustainable aviation fuels, if we try to use it to our already existing aircraft fuel, this will cut down our carbon consumption by a very large extent. If we are telling that we have an alternative, that is, if we blend this, for example, we have ethanol mixed, yes, so when we can blend this and it will reduce our carbon footprints, then why are other countries not following? If you see, this is very costly and this is very scarce, less quantity. What it is we will see a little bit later, but in order to make sure, we have two objectives. One is, somehow if we do this we will cut down our carbon limit, but it is costly. In order to fund for this cost, Singapore became the first country in the entire world to impose a green fuel levy. Understanding? Green fuel levy means anyone who is leaving from Singapore and going to another country will be charged, the tourists will be charged additional amount of money in the name of green fuel levy. This money they will use it to buy sustainable aviation fuel. So through this way they will try to reduce the carbon footprint in the aviation sector. Understanding? We'll move ahead. Why this is very important is because your aviation accounts for completely 1.2% of all global greenhouse gas emissions is contributed by your aviation only, that is your aircraft. Now this is increasing and not decreasing. So if we try to bring this about, it would be a huge change. Your SAF, your sustainable aviation fuel, if used, it is only 0.3% is used in the entire world. So why? Because of its high cost and limited availability. In order to finance for the high cost is why Singapore has put a green levy. What is this sustainable aviation fuel? If you see, this is a SAF means non-petroleum low carbon alternative to aviation turbine fuel. Your aviation turbine fuel is what conventionally your aircrafts will use, that is a fossil fuel based, carbon based. Now if you use your SAF, which is non-petroleum low carbon alternative, this will be a game changer for us in decarbonization. So what is this SAF made of? It is made of things from renewable feedstocks such as agricultural residue, municipal solid waste, forest residues, waste oils and fats. So much so that when an oil, that is a fuel, is made from these products, this will reduce up to 70% of carbon footprint based on which are we using. Then as of now they are telling blend at least 10 to 15% of the fuel, that is your SAF to ATF. That is blend sustainable aviation fuel to aviation turbine fuel. One advantage of this is, if we mix something like this, we do not need to produce new engines. Existing modern aircraft engines will work. Even the fuel stations, no infrastructure needs to be changed if we have to just move to this transition. Only thing is cost. That is how your Singapore is trying to put a new levy. So in that money, we will try to use it for this. As of now, if we use SAF, it will reduce 80% of your carbon dioxide life cycle, and also it will cut almost 65% of emission cuts. Okay, by 20 like net zero carbon dioxide consumption, we have told in your Paris agreement, we have to reduce it to at least a hard amount of by 2070. India has pledged itself for 2050 net zero carbon. So what are the benefits of this? We will be doing fuel diversification, and also the refueling infrastructure, anything with regarding to the fuel, aircraft, machines, nothing needs to be changed. So this is in both ways win-win. In India, under National Biofuel Coordination Committee, they have also told that for our respective country, in our aircrafts also, blend SAF. But how many percent? By 2027, blend at least 1%. By 2028, blend 2%. By 2030, blend 5%. If we do this, we can achieve carbon net neutrality by 2070. Okay. So as of now, did India ever do this? Yes. India's first SAF blended commercial flight means from one country to another country, was launched by AirAsia on your Pune to Delhi route in 2023, which used domestically produced SAF. SAF was produced in our country, but this was for a commercial flight. Okay, clear up until here? We'll move ahead. So I'll ask a question based on this. You tell me whether the statements are correct or wrong. SAF can be blended with conventional jet fuel without modifying aircraft engines. Correct. This is the win-win situation. SAF is produced only from plant-based biomass feedstock. Yes, even from solid waste also we can do. So this is wrong. SAF can reduce life cycle greenhouse gas emissions by up to 80%. Correct, it is up to 80%. India has mandated SAF blending for domestic flights by 2030. See, this is also not for domestic flights, it is for commercial international flights, something that is leaving our country and going. So correct answer is 1 and 3. Next topic is transplantation of human organs and tissues amendment rules of 2025. So this becomes a very important topic for the fact that the health ministry, okay, the health ministry has given this 2025 amendment under TOTA 1994. What that is, further down we will see. One thing is, you all know about the eyes, cornea. In this eyes, a lot of things would be about transplantation. In our country, blindness has been caused, okay. If we take blindness, first highest number is due to your cataract, okay. In this, we have to, why and all do people get blindness? One is because of genetic, another is because of malnutrition, another reason is if they get hurt to the eyes, or if there is any prolonging illness that has affected the eyes. So in any of these scenarios, the cornea gets affected. Now what happened is, large amount of transplantations happen is for your eyes with respect to your cataract and all this. But this corneal transplantation, cornea means your eyes ka transplantation, always was focused in only certain areas. Okay, it was focused in only certain areas and only in few upper your urban areas. There was an issue for that. What was the issue means, because government had made one change. Okay, from 1994 this concept was there. Mandatory clinical specular microscope. If at all any hospital has to do eye transplant, then compulsory, whatever rules I am telling, it is from 1994 to 2025 this rules was there. 2025 say this is removed. What is that mandatory rule means? Clinical specular microscope compulsorily has to be there in a hospital if it has to do a eye transplant. This microscope will assess how the cells are with regarding to the eyes, and this is a very costly equipment, okay. Because of this, your normal hospitals could not acquire them. Under your government order, if a particular hospital has to do eye transplant, they have to have this microscope. If they don't have this microscope, they should not do that eye transplant. Because of this, it was focused only in few upper urban areas. Understanding? Now 2025 they have discovered many people are suffering and many hospitals are not able to do eye transplant is because of this condition. If we remove this, that is, if we remove the mandatory clinical specular microscope, then many new hospitals will be able to do this eye transplant without the hindrance. So this is the change that was brought in 2025. So with this, what will happen? Smaller and rural centers also can conduct corneal transplants, and throughout India there will be availability of organ transplant services. First thing is, when your health ministry brought this change, this aligns with the goal of National Organ Transplant Program. What is this? Little bit further I will tell you. That is, organ transplant, whatever we are dealing with, it also deals with organ, tissue and eye donation. All of this will come under your organ donation. First thing is, because if so many hospitals will now be able to access transplantation, means they will also be having increased number of people who will be volunteering also. Another thing is, these institutions will start creating awareness for eye donations also more. This will tackle corneal blindness. I told you first highest number of blindness is due to cataract, and corneal blindness is the second reason why people become blind. Why this happens? Infection, injury, malnutrition or genetic issues. India has more than 1.2 million people who are suffering with corneal blindness, and every year 25,000 to 30,000 cases are added. And if you see with regarding to corneal blindness, this is the second largest cause for blindness in India. Now, this is your TOTA. Otherwise, Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissues Act, which was created in 1994. If you look at the history of it, from very beginning, that is from 1947 to 1994, our country had never made a holistic law on organ transplantation. In 1994, only certain areas had scattered laws, something like your Bombay Corneal Grafting Act, Maharashtra Kidney Act, whichever state wanted, they would just create, and only for one specific things. And because of this, what happens, lot of illegal activities would increase with regarding to organ transplant. They would even do human trafficking just so that they can take these organs. At this point of time, LM Singhvi committee, you would have heard in your polity also, LM Singhvi. So yes, LM Singhvi committee decided that, see, in order to reduce this human trafficking, in order to reduce the black marketing of trafficking of organs, let the India itself create one holistic law or act to deal with transplanting of organs. That is what led to TOTA, or Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissues Act. So it will be more fair, transparent and accountable, and it can save much more lives rather than just the poor, rather than just the rich. So TOTA Act came into picture is because of LM Singhvi committee recommendations in 1991. So what was the TOTA Act? 1994 Act means it said, how do you remove, store and transplant the organ and tissues? It also spoke about prohibition of commercial trade. You shouldn't sell it, because if other countries say people want, here we are giving commercial trade means, then it will become like a business. Even innocent people will be misused because of this. So TOTA Act strictly prohibits trade of human organs, tissues, and it also defined who can be a donor, who can be a recipient, and the person has to be only from a near relative. See, organ transplant happens in two ways. One is collection of organs or transplant from your brain dead people or dead persons. Another is through your living donor. For example, kidneys, part of pancreas, these can be donated while a person is alive, and he will also continue to survive, the other person also will survive. One thing about your organ transplant is, once a person receives the new organ, their body will try to reject that particular organ, thinking it is a foreign body. So what they try to do is, government usually after surgery, they will try to give immunosuppressants, that they shouldn't feel like it is a foreign body. That cases are higher when you collect it from a dead person. Comparatively, the success rates are higher in living donors. In order to make sure under TOTA, if you have to become a living donor, then you should be a relative of that particular person. Otherwise, it will be huge misuse. Understanding? So it allows, TOTA also allows brain dead donors. They can even give your organs, but under your permission. And it requires informed consent. Okay, without consent, none of these can happen. Now 2011 they brought an amendment to this TOTA, telling that now not just eyes, we will add more organs and tissues to these rules. 2014 they told how the procedures, approvals and documentation will work. And I told you 2025 they told that that particular microscope is no longer needed. This TOTA Act will apply to all the states and union territories except Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Why only not to them? Because health comes under state subject. If health comes under state subject, then how did center make this law in the first place? Because few states requested the center to make law. So because of that, it's applicable to everyone. In this case, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have their own laws with respect to organ donors. So because of that, apart from these two, for all the other states and union territories, this law is applicable. So this is National Organ Transplant Program or NOTP. Under this we have three bodies: National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization, Regional Organ Tissue Transplant Organization, and State Organ Transplant and Tissue Organizations. These are all the things that are to be created in various levels by the government, and your NOTO, that is National Apex Body, it is at New Delhi. All of these things, your ROTTO and SOTTOs must be created in every state and union territory by the center. So what are the key components of this? You have to set up SOTO in all states. You have to create biomaterial centers where you will collect all these, store all these, and then you will fund hospitals in order to bring in the infrastructure needed for transplant, and you will also train the medical teams as to how to do that. So as of now, if you see with regarding to transplants, India is the third largest total transplants level. How many has happened? First is USA, second is China, third is India. And India is the first position pay in living donor transplants. I told you, living donor transplant means a person is alive, parts such as your part of pancreas, liver, kidney, these are given and only by the relatives. In that position, India is the first place. So I'll read out few questions, you tell me if the statements are correct. With reference to transplantation of human organs and tissue amendment rules of 2025, consider the following statements. The amendment removes the mandatory requirement of clinical specular microscope for corneal transplantation. Correct. NOTO functions as the national apex body for organ and tissue transplantation in India. Correct. TOTA 1994 allows for commercial trade of organs under special medical conditions. Under no special medical conditions or any condition, commercial trade of organs is not allowed in India. In fact, it is banned in India. India ranks first globally in total organ transplantation. In total organ transplantation, we are in third position. In living donor transplantation, we are first in number. So only first and two are correct. Next is IT Amendment Rules 2025. Done? See, this is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, that is your MeitY, has notified a new change that is called as Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Amendment Rules 2025. You do not have to remember this big of a name. MeitY has brought in new changes to your IT rules. That much you have to remember. What is the rules means? These rules are amending the already existing rules in 2021, IT rules of 2021, and that specific portion is Rule 3 of 1 of D. Done? First and foremost, this new rules will come into effect from 15th November 2025. What is this about? It is about trying to bring more transparency and reduce arbitrary removal of content. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. See, we have something called as IT rules. We also have something called as IT Act. Otherwise, in simpler sense, let's say government. Okay, this is government. They will come to people. Let's say your social medias who are having access to content. These are all the contents. Assume this like reels or the posts that we keep scrolling. This one particular post or a reel, is AI or a deep fake, or it is affecting in some way national security of India. So the government will come and tell this person that this particular news is fake, it is affecting national security, means he has to remove this. Okay. In this IT rules space, there was also something called as section 69A. If the government feels some data is not correct, then they should remove it, is what they had told. The Supreme Court told, no, that is a violation. Government on its own just cannot keep removing things. At the same point of time, now they have told that, okay, government will go ask this person to remove that content, means that person can remove it. But the procedure as to how you can do is, earlier you just have to tell, hi, it is important for national security, means remove. Now they have told, how does this news affect national security? On what aspect is it affecting the people? Is it actually just freedom of speech, or is it something that is affecting your national security? Will be checked in various levels. And also, who can authorize, means anyone from government cannot authorize. Anyone in joint secretary level or DGIP level from police, or these two sections and above only can tell them. Understanding? And each month pay, how many content have you removed, like that, was it necessary? One more secretary general will check. So in a way, what they are trying to tell is, we are bringing more transparency to the system. That is what the new IT amendment rules are about. Look at this rule. What is the rule 3(1) of D? The intermediaries must remove or disable unlawful content after receiving a government order. If the government told the person remove it, he had to remove it. That is what your rule 3(1) of D used to state in 2021. Now changes are brought to this rule 3(1) of D. Okay. We'll move ahead. This particular rules will also work with section 79(3)(b) of IT Act and section 69A of IT Act of 2000. What are these? Section 79(3)(b) of IT Act states that if the intermediary, if a government has told the intermediary, let's say social media, to remove a content and he doesn't remove, means we will remove his safe harbor. That is, we will not give him permission, he cannot continue. Section 69A means center can block online content on grounds of national security, sovereignty or public order. Okay, these three contents pe government can remove any data in the online. Okay, so this particular new rules will be effective alongside section 67 and section 79. What are the features of the new bill that we have brought about? That is new amendment rules. Only senior officials can issue your takedown orders. Who are the senior officials? Joint secretary level or up. Understanding? That's a very high position from your bureaucratic level. Now if you see with regarding to police, DIG and above level officers can only issue authorization to remove the content, not anyone below them. Why they have kept this? Means because the higher the level, then it is easier to hold them accountable. One more thing is, if you have to take down, if you are going to tell the intermediaries to take down, then that should be based on legal basis. Personally, you can't go tell them, it has to be through legal means. And you have to tell exact violation. You should not tell it is affecting national security and leave it vague. You have to tell how national security is getting affected. And they have to also provide specific link, URL or identifier that this website, this particular time is speaking this, so this you remove. They cannot randomly tell remove all the contents on, okay, a particular topic. So this removes the vagueness and it aligns with section 79 where actual knowledge requirement, that is you have to tell which content, why and for what reason with legal basis you have to provide. Done? We'll move ahead. So, This particular thing will be monthly reviewed. How many ever things that you have did in a month, told how many content to be removed, this will be reviewed from your secretary level, and they will also see whether this was necessary or not necessary. Through this we will be able to hold much more accountability. So IT rules of 2021, what were those? They were again issued by your MATE. This was further amended in 22 and 23 and also again now in 2025. Okay. Obligation on intermediaries, that is your in between, the social medias, must not upload any of these contents. What are the contents? Misinformation, patent false content, or deep fakes or impersonation. If something like this happen, people can raise a complaint to the grievance officer. Now, advisories under IT rules means to whom and all this will apply. Again, anyone with respect to AI deployment, deepfake prevention, AI models, generative AI tools, all of this should make sure that when you create or when you are going to make anything, it should not be attacking the society in any manner. Now, we will see possible questions here. With reference to IT Amendments Rules 2025, consider the following statements. Only joint secretary level officers or equivalent can issue content takedown order under Rule 3.1 of D. Correct. All takedown directions must undergo monthly review by secretary level officer. Correct. The amended rules allow intermediaries to ignore takedown notices that do not specify exact URL. They should not ignore it at any cost. Section 69A of IT Act empowers central government to block online content in the interest of national security. That was how it was there, section 69. So it is correct. Correct options are 1, 2 and 4 only. Next topic is National Urban Conclave of 2025. Recently, Union Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs, Manohar Lal, inaugurated the National Urban Conclave 2025 at Yashobhoomi, New Delhi. This is important. Okay. This is very simple. What we are trying to tell is your Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs itself means that something they are trying to do well for the sustainable development of urban and your housing in the urban areas. So, one of the issues that they are trying to deal with here in National Urban Conclave is trying to deal with your waste management and also deal with the issue of landfills. At the same point of time, why should they call for a conclave? Means if there are any people who are coming up with new technology or who wants to invest in this, so bring people, investors and your technology into one domain. That is your conclave about. The theme of this was sustainable urban development and governance. Important for statement kind of question. Sustainable urban development and governance. What is their focus on? Urban innovation, investment, climate resilience and governance strengthening. So basically they want people to bring in new technology and also investment. What are the initiatives that was launched under Mission Mode Dump Site Remediation, otherwise called as DRAP? First thing is a year-long initiative which will be told that how should we deal with the dump sites, that is all the waste will be brought and dumped in one place, no? That is what we call as landfills. In 1 year, we have to come up with the initiative as to how should we deal with your landfills. That has to be ready by September 2026. And they are targeting 214 major landfill sites and 202 urban local bodies. In these areas, how are we going to reduce the waste or landfills? These sites, whatever 214 major landfills and 202 urban local bodies that we spoke, it has more than 80% of India's total waste present there. So we are trying to address how can we remove 80% of India's waste generation. So what was the draft framework? It had 5 pillars: political leadership, public finance, public advocacy, project management and partnerships. That is, we have to bring in people's awareness, political wills, investment and also technology and more awareness. They are going to be monitoring these things in real-time data, and also a national portal will be dedicated. None of these are created. These are just telling that we will do all of these. So it can be more transparent. People can view this. They've also opened something called as UWIN or Urban Invest Window. This is to attract more of your investments. One-stop investment platform. UWIN is your one-stop investment platform. And this will be anchored, that is, this will be conducted by your HUDCO or Housing and Urban Development Corporation. Next is with respect to the same tie-ups. Okay, Swachh Bharat Mission, which is nothing but knowledge management unit. Swachh Bharat Mission pe knowledge management unit means trying to make sure how are we going to deal with the landfills or waste. Otherwise, it is only for using new technologies, capacity building and trying to deal with your waste management. This will be hosted by NIUA or National Institute of Urban Affairs. They will try to find out which are the best possible ways and best possible models which are followed by other countries or our own urban local bodies, and that has helped in reducing landfill. If they try to find out, they will try to implement it in larger levels. Then, so with that, they have also started off saving and conservation of water alongside your waste management. That is under Amrut. We have older scheme Amrut. Atal, it's more of urban renovation. They have started a new anthem that is called Jal Hi Janani. Okay, Amrut stands for Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. In this, they are going to spread awareness on water conservation, waste management and also urban water security. Then we'll move ahead. I'll read out the questions, you tell me the options. With reference to National Urban Conclave 2025, the Mission Mode Dump Site Remediation or DRAP initiative aims to clear 80% of India's legacy waste by September 2026. What is it? Yes, it aims to come up. Now look at the word here itself. Aims. It is just thinking of doing this. It has not told it will do it. But that is what they are trying to do. Deal with 80%. Now in the previous when I told you more than 202 land sites. And in this place is where 80% of waste is there. So this is aims. Whenever the statement has aims, the possibility of that being correct is higher because it is just an objective. UN launched at the conclave is anchored by NIUA to provide technical support for waste management. Understand this? UN, what is UN for? Very good. Urban investment is anchored to provide Technical support. Technical support means if you have to clean waste, how you are supposed to do that? Are UN portal people going to go and clean waste there? Right? And also they do not provide technical support, they are one-stop investment platform. So this is wrong. Next is the 5P framework under DRAP includes political leadership, public finance, public advocacy, project management and partnerships. Correct. The Amrit anthem for Jal Hi Janani focus on promoting water conservation in cities. Correct. So correct answer is 1, 3 and 5. Last topic is Cooperative Kumbh 2025. Done? Here, Union Minister of Cooperation, Ministry of Cooperation came in the year 2021. So they have inaugurated something called as Cooperative Kumbh. Okay, and here what are they trying to do means future of urban cooperative banks, promote more of urban cooperative banks. Okay, they have also adopted the Delhi Declaration of 2025, which is about your modernization and also sustainable development with respect to urban growth. What is Delhi Declaration 2025? It is a strategic roadmap for strengthening and expanding urban cooperative banks. This becomes important. Delhi Declaration of 2025 is something to deal with urban cooperative banks. How are they trying to do that? They are basing it on capacity building, technology, good governance, all of this. Then, so what are the digital initiatives launched in this Co-op Kumbh means? First one is Sahakar DigiPay app. In this, they will enable urban cooperative banks for digital services. That is, from Sahakar DigiPay app, your urban cooperatives can now start digital payment services. Next is Sahakar Digi Loan app. That is, it will help small urban cooperative banks to open digital loan facilities. So we have this concept of lazy pay and all. These are private players. Now your urban cooperative bank itself can give digital loans. Okay. They have also, the target that they have kept is one urban cooperative bank should be there in every Indian city which has population of more than 2 lakh people. And this they want to do it in the next 5 years. One urban cooperative bank in every city which has at least minimum population of 2 lakh rupees, that is 2 lakh people, and they are trying to do it by next 5 years. Next is National Federation of Urban Cooperative Banks and Credit Societies. They are the ones who will be trying to build at least 1,500 UCBs with Sahakar DigiPay app. Someone should come and help them out, right? That is going to be your National Federation of Urban Cooperative Banks and Credit Societies. They will be teaching them how to do this, and this they have to do for 1,500 banks. Okay, that they have to do it within next 2 years, and also they have to make all these functional and operational. We'll move ahead. So, as of now, if you see, because of giving your urban cooperative banks a good amount of watch and also a good amount of leniency. Leniency means try to deal this issue in an innovative manner, just because of trying to giving them accountability, transferability and independence. When you give all these three, they have been able to reduce NPS, non-performing assets, from 2.8% to just 0.6%. So they are effectively able to reduce it to this, okay, your NPS, non-performing assets, your urban cooperative banks are able to reduce from 2.8% to 0.6%. Okay. So in the global cooperative leadership, the first position is held by your Amul. I write this down. Global cooperative leadership. These are the countries that are running, that is, these are the cooperatives that are in very high position. First position is held by Amul and second is by IFFCO, IFFCO. Done? So this is just the news that they are trying to integrate DigiPay app and a DigiLoan. What are the possible questions with respect to Co-op Kumbh 2025? Consider the following statements. Sahakar DigiPay and Sahakar DigiLoan apps were launched to support digital services for urban cooperative banks. Correct. Delhi Declaration 2025 provides a roadmap for expanding UCBs across the country. Correct. NAFCUB has been directed to onboard 1,500 banks onto Sahakar DigiPay app within 2 years. Correct. Amul and IFFCO were both ranked within top 3 global cooperatives of International Cooperative Alliances. Correct. First position is Amul, second position is IFFCO. So they are within top 3. Okay. So this was the last topic. Any doubts so far? Online class, any doubts? We'll end the session.